Since the 1990s, Pokemon has become a worldwide phenomenon. From cartoons to video games, the idea of catching all those monsters has been an obsession for many. As time went on, they added new Pokemon and additional layers to the mythology. With so much new stuff, it's hard to keep up. Ready to sharpen your Pokemon knowledge? I'm Mike with List 25, and here are 25 facts about Pokemon you probably didn't know. This is a Pokemon. His name is Mr. Kitty. Huh.
25.
Most people would probably point to Pikachu or Bulbasaur as the first Pokemon. However, according to Ken Sugimori, Rhydon was the first Pokemon ever created by the original team.
24.
Everyone loves the electrified yellow mouse named Pikachu, but where did his name come from? Apparently it's a play on words in Japanese between Pika Pika, which means sparkle, and Choo Choo, which means squeaking. Pikachu is a much better name than Squeaking Sparkle, though.
23.
Drowzee, the sleepy time dream eater Pokemon, is based on the tapir. In ancient South American folklore, the tapir would eat dreams as people slept.
22.
Depending on its personality value, a female Azurill has a 1 in 3 chance of evolving into a male Azurill. It's the only Pokemon to be able to do this.
21.
Of course, every Pokemon has a strength and weakness against other types of Pokemon, but many have wondered, why are Psychic types weak against Bug, Ghost, and Dark types? Well, because being afraid of bugs, ghosts, and the dark are all very common phobias.
20.
A Pokemon can only be, at most, 2 different types, like a grass type and a ground type. However, one Redditor wondered what a Pokemon might be like if it had all 18 types, and discovered it would still be weak against Rock-type Pokemon.
19.
In its Pokedex description, Xatu stays still and quiet because it can see both past and future at the same time, which means Xatu can see all the horrific things that are going to happen and can do nothing to stop it.
18.
Slowbro is the evolution of Slowpoke with Shelter on his tail. But if Slowbro somehow loses Shelter, he'll devolve back to Slowpoke. Of all the Pokemon, he's the only one that devolves. Digimon can devolve though.
17.
Most people probably think Pokemon are just used to fight other Pokemon, but they might be a little disturbed to find out that Pokemon are also considered food. In the early versions of the game, Slowpoke tails were worth a lot of money and considered a delicacy.
16.
Pokemon have some of the most creative and original names. However, many aren't aware that some Pokemon types have numbers attached to their names. For instance, Articuno, Zapdos, and Moltres have the Spanish numbers uno, dos, and tres at the end of their names.
15.
Honestly, sometimes Pokemon mythology can take a dark turn, and the story behind Cubone is certainly dark. As a ground-type Pokemon, Cubone's face has never been seen because it wears a skull on its head. Is the skull a trophy of its murdered victims? No. It's the skull of its mother, and Cubone is said to make an awful howl when it sees the full moon, as it reminds him of his dead mother.
14.
Obviously, many Pokemon are based on various real-world animals, but you may not have noticed that Poliwag is based on the tadpole. The swirl on its belly is the tadpole's intestines. See?
13.
In Japan, the original game published by Nintendo was titled Pokemonsuta, or Pocket Monster. However, when it was exported to other countries, it had to change its name, and so they shortened it to Pokemon.
12.
So, remember when I said that Pokemon could get a little dark? Yeah, this is one of those times. As a Shadow-type Pokemon, Yamask is a Pokemon carrying a mask of its time as a human long ago. Since it was once a human, it also has memories of being a human, and if you put on its mask, you'll become possessed by it. Sometimes it'll look at its own mask and cry as it wanders ancient civilizations.
11.
Even though Munna wasn't introduced to Pokemon until the 5th generation, there's a scene in the 1st gen Pokemon of a trainer mentioning a pink Pokemon with a floral pattern that matches the description of Munna.
10.
As fighting-type Pokemon, Hitmonchan and Hitmonlee get their names from famous fighters. Hitmonchan is a reference to Jackie Chan, while Hitmonlee is a reference to Bruce Lee. Their Japanese names also make references to famous Japanese fighters.
9.
Originally, the developers planned to have Arcanine be a legendary Pokemon. They showed their hand a little bit too early in the Pokemon cartoon episode Pokemon Emergency. However, in the game, Arcanine was never a legendary Pokemon, making many believe the developers backed away from this idea.
8.
The Japanese word for splash can also mean hop, which is why there are Pokemon types like Spoink that have no association with water, but can still use the move Splash. It's more of a mist. Oh.
7.
Pikachu and Meowth are exact opposites in almost every way. Pikachu is a mouse, while Meowth is a cat. They're both mortal enemies in the Pokemon cartoon. And also, Pikachu is number 25 in the Pokedex, while Meowth is number 52.
6.
Originally in the comic book, Clefairy was the face of Pokemon. But when it was being adapted from the video game to a cartoon, the producers decided they wanted Pikachu to be the face of Pokemon, thinking it would be more relatable to young viewers. Hang on. How is Pikachu relatable? I like to electrocute my enemies.
5.
In the Pokemon mythos, humans were desperately trying to copy Mew, and in their failed attempts created Ditto, the pink slime, instead. Of course, we all know they did finally copy Mew into Mewtwo.
4.
All Pokemon are different in their own way, but Spinda is a special case. Each Spinda has a unique pattern of spots on it based on its personality. Some have theorized that there are 8 billion different possibilities of where its spots will be.
3.
If you're ever playing the old Pokemon Red or Blue games, go to one of the gyms and try to fish near the statues. Supposedly, the statues have an identity crisis and think they're water.
2.
While Smeargle may have horrible stats, it has the ability to learn almost every move in the game.
1.
Pokemon fans have theorized Wobuffet's body is actually a decoy and his real body is the black tail. If you look closely, the tail has 2 eyes, and the Pokedex explains it'll protect its tail at all costs. So, which Pokemon is your favorite, and why does it Raichu? Let us know in the comments below. Enjoying our lists? Be sure to click that subscribe button in the bottom right so you don't miss out on new ones every Monday through Friday. Share them with your friends and help us consistently conciliate curiosity. And if you want even more lists, check out these 3 videos here, or just head to our website at list25.com.